Greetings from Edu Aspirants, our YouTube channel to ace academics, competitions, entrance exams, as also for enrichment of knowledge. In the series of videos on India, in chapter 14, we will see what we have for you in the 4 videos on finance. The functions of the Ministry of Finance are administration of finances, all economic and financial matters of the country, including mobilization of resources for development and other purposes, and expenditure of the government, including transfer of resources to the states and union territories. The ministry consists of 5 departments, which are Department of Economic Affairs, Expenditure, Revenue, Investment and Public Asset Management, and Financial Services. Let us see what we have in Department of Economic Affairs, DEA. DEA monitors economic trends, advises the government on internal and external aspects of economic management, including prices, credit, fiscal and monetary policy, and investment regulations. All the external financial and technical assistance received by India, except through specialized international organizations like FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization, ILO, International Labour Organization, UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, and except under international bilateral specific agreements in the field of science and technology, culture and education are also monitored by this department. The Department of Economic Affairs also prepares and presents the union budget to the Parliament and the budget for the state governments under President's rule and for the Union Territory administrations. The Directorate of Currency has the administrative control of the SPM-CIL. And what does it mean? Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited, about which we shall study in a subsequent video. The Union Budget of India, including the rail budget. You might remember that till some years ago, the rail budget was separately presented in the Parliament. Now it is part of the Union Budget of India, presented each year on the first working day of February. Earlier, it was not the first working day of February, but you must remember that now it is first working day of February. It is presented by the Finance Minister of India in the Parliament. Under Article 112 of the Constitution, a statement of estimated receipts and expenditure of the Government of India has to be laid before Parliament in respect of every financial year. This statement, titled Annual Financial Statement, is the main budget document. It shows the receipts and payments under Consolidated Fund, Contingency Fund, and Public Account. All revenues received by government, loans raised by it, and also its receipts from recoveries of loans granted by it form the consolidated fund. All expenditure of government is incurred from the consolidated fund, and no amount can be withdrawn from the fund without authorization from Parliament unless there is an emergency. So Parliament's authorization is of utmost significance for any expenditure. This you must remember. The contingency fund is an impressed. What is impressed? Some advance or a loan already there, available at the disposal of the President of India. to incur expenditure, and parliamentary approval for such expenditure and for withdrawal is subsequently obtained, and which is reimbursed by contingency fund subsequently. Besides the normal receipts and expenditure of government, it acts as a banker. For example, provident funds, small savings collections, and other deposits, etc. The monies thus received are kept in the public account, and the connected disbursements are also made from it. In some cases, a part of the revenue of government is set apart in separate funds for expenditure on specific objects like road development, primary education, midday meal scheme, and other likewise schemes. These amounts are withdrawn from the consolidated fund with the approval of Parliament and kept in the public account for expenditure. The actual expenditure proposed on these specific objects is also submitted for vote of Parliament later. Under the Constitution, budget has to distinguish expenditure on revenue account from other expense. Government budget therefore comprises 1. Revenue budget and 2. Capital budget. Demand for grants. The estimates of expenditure from the consolidated fund included in the annual financial statement and required to be voted by the Lok Sabha are submitted in the form of demand for grants in pursuance of Article 113 of the Constitution. One demand for grant for each ministry or department is presented, and for larger ministries or departments, more than one demand is presented. For union territories without legislature, a separate demand is presented for each union territory. The demands for grants are presented to the Lok Sabha along with the annual financial statement. I'm sure you know the union territories that have a legislature. Delhi is one, Puducherry is another. Do you remember any other union territory with legislature? Find out. Under Article 110(1)(a) of the Constitution, with the annual financial statement, a finance bill is also presented in the Parliament. A finance bill is a money bill, as defined in Article 110 of the Constitution. It is accompanied by a memorandum explaining the provisions included in it. The amount required to meet the expenditure charged on consolidated fund is sought through the appropriation bill. Under Article 114(3) of the Constitution, no amount can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund without the enactment of such a law by Parliament. The main sources of union tax revenue are customs duties, union excise duties, service tax, corporate and income taxes. Non-tax revenues largely comprise interest receipts, dividends, profits, fines, and miscellaneous receipts collected in the exercise of sovereign functions, regulatory charges, and license fees and user charges for goods and services provided to the public. Public debt of India is classified into three categories, which are internal debt, external debt, and other liabilities. Internal debt for the Government of India largely consists of fixed tenure and fixed rate government papers, dated securities and treasury bills issued through auctions. These include market loans, that is dated securities, treasury bills which are for 91, 182 or 364 days, and 14-day treasury bills which are issued only to the state governments. Cash management bills, special securities issued to the Reserve Bank of India, compensation and other bonds, non-negotiable and non-interest bearing rupee securities issued to international financial organizations and securities issued under market stabilization scheme with a view to reduce dependency on physical gold as also to reduce imports. External debt represents loans received from foreign governments and multilateral institutions. The Union government does not borrow directly from international capital markets. Its foreign currency borrowing takes place from multilateral agencies and bilateral sources and is a part of Official Development Assistance ODA. Other liabilities category is not a part of public debt. It includes other interest-bearing obligations of the government such as post office saving deposits, deposits under small savings schemes, loans raised through post office cash certificates, provident funds, and certain other deposits. This brings us to the end of the first of the 4 videos on finance. Keep revising and please subscribe, like, share, and do press the bell icon for updates. Best of luck for your forthcoming exams.